Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In today's video, I'm going to figure out why my Black & Decker MM875 lawnmower isn't running. When you hit the trigger, it doesn't do anything. Over the years, what I've learned is a saw, so a mower, a skill saw, reciprocating saw, is essentially a motor and a case. Something like a skill saw or this lawnmower that you will see has an on-off switch, it has a motor, and then it has a case. It's a very basic, simple machine, but knowing a few things will save you a lot of money, and it's relatively simple to do on your own. So for this video, I'm going to go from the very beginning, step by step, and I'll show you a couple other things so you guys can replace parts as needed instead of buying a new mower. Alright guys, so this is my Black & Decker Lawn Hog. This is a 1350 series motor. The actual model is an MM875. This lawnmower is over 20 years old. I have done many little fixes, repairs with this mower, and it is still going. But guys, what I'll do is we'll start from the very beginning on how I would troubleshoot this, and then we will take off the cover and then go step by step and see if we can figure out what the problem is. Alright, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check the extension cord. So this is a 100-foot cord. It was originally, there's a mail-in like this up in here. For whatever reason, I don't remember why, but I removed that and then I hardwired this cord into here. So the first thing to do is to check the cord. This is an aftermarket plug that I put on. So it can either be this here or something in here to start. I don't believe the cord is the issue here. And the reason is because there's no real moving parts. There is a switch up here that when you flick it, it'll start the mower. But I think it's a motor issue, not a power supply issue. But in the interest of being thorough, we'll start with the extension cord. Alright guys, this is our tools list. So I have my socket set, I have a quick pick screwdriver, multimeter, a volt stick, and then this case has Torx here, and then imperial and metric Allen keys. For this, I'll need the Torx. Guys, this is all you need for tools for this job. So let's get started. Alright, so this is our plug. This is Leviton, it says right here. So I have replaced this plug multiple times on this cord. So what it is you have 3 screws that hold the face here and then this body. Now I've had these things burn out on me before. I don't think that's the issue in this case, but we'll take a look anyway, and at some point I will get a video on how to replace one of these plugs. You can get them both in male and female. This one is a male plug. And then we'll take the clamp off as well. So our plug, everything looks good. I've had the wires before burn out here and this got disconnected. If you see charring or anything like that, that means this is probably no good. But everything here looks to be perfectly fine. So I'll put this back together and then we will address our switch next. Alright, so we know this is working here. There's a switch inside, an on-off switch, and this is our black wire for the on-off switch. So because this is open right now, we shouldn't have any power, which we don't. We close the switch, and we have power. Which means the switch here is working fine, but we're going to take this apart and I'm going to show you the switch itself and then how to test it. Okay, so our switch is inside here. I believe this is just an on-off switch. You pull the lever, it'll close the switch, turning the mower on. It's spring loaded, you let it go, it'll shut it off. So I'm going to take this off first. This is a 7/16. This is not original. The original nut was lost. I believe this has, it's been molded into the plastic where the nut would sit inside, but I'm pretty sure it was lost, so that is why I replaced this. And then we have a lock washer here just to make sure that I don't lose the new nut. So these are the same Phillips. There's 5 of them, 2 here, 1 here. Alright, so I moretted everything together. Everything is still, looks like everything is still tight, it's still connected. Alright, so next we're going to test the switch here. So we have our multimeter, and down here this is the continuity setting. So this switch is an on-off switch. It's either open or it's closed. So for example, these 2 leads are open. When they're closed, it makes a sound. So all you're checking for is a break in the switch. So we'll go from red to white first. Okay, with this out being depressed, the switch is open. So we'll depress it. We'll stick that there, and now we'll close the switch. So block to block, when this is depressed, it's closed. When this is not depressed, it's open. So the switch is doing the opposite when it's open and closed, which means this works. So what I'll do is I'll put the cover back on, and then we'll move on to the motor itself. Alright, so we're going to take this cover off. There are 2 screws, one here and one here. These are Torx. This is not an Allen key. And this is also, in this particular model's case, this is a T20. So with that undone, this should just come off. Alright, so this is our motor here. So a lawnmower is essentially a motor and a big case. So we have a brush here and a brush here. These brushes will wear out over time. So what I'll do is I'll take both of these out, and then we'll take a look at our brush. So the brush is spring loaded, and then the spring will keep pushing it in. I've already replaced the brushes on this mower before, but what we'll do is we'll take the brushes out and inspect them. So this wire is not attached. Alright, so this is the wire going to the brush. This is still connected. As you can see, I just twisted the 2 together. I'm fairly certain this is what the problem is on the other side, that this right here is not connected anymore. So this is the brush. The wire is supposed to go into the hole here. So a long time ago, I bought a set of brushes. I only put the one in because it was necessary at the time, but you can see at the brand new one and then the old one. So this says like 70% left on it. So I only replaced the one brush the first time. You can see how it's been clamped here. This is original. Guys, you're supposed to technically replace them both together. But because how much material was left, I only replaced the one. But this brush here will run along the rotor here to activate the motor. So I'm going to reuse this one because I don't feel it's necessary to replace. So my very simple fix to this is we'll put the wire back into the hole. We'll bend it off to the side as it was before. And then you see the channel. We'll put it back inside there. The wire is supposed to go into this channel here. We'll put the cover back on, we'll screw it down. And we should be back in business now. Alright, so everything's back together. I put them red on the other side to hold the two in place. So now I'm going to try to turn on the mower and it should kick on. Alright, so in this case, the reason why the mower wasn't working is because this wire was disconnected at the brush. Alright, the one other issue I've ran into over the years is having the motor spin, but the mower not cutting grass. So our blade is connected to the motor with a plastic washer. This is a metal washer, and then this is a 19mm bolt. Now the plastic washer, if you hit a stone, so a rock here, this plastic washer will shear, and the idea is that you won't burn out your mortar. It's, I guess in a matter of speaking, kind of like a keyway. But the nut is a 19mm. So we have our nuts, we have a metal washer, and then this is our plastic washer. So it says replace if damaged, but the idea is that it has two high ends on this side, and then it should have two high ends on the bottom. You can see how it's worn here and it's worn here. The fact that this wasn't sitting square like this means that this washer is almost worn out. But I've gone through tons of these. They're a few dollars. So if your motor's running but you're not cutting any grass, more than likely this shear washer is probably damaged. And then looking at our blade here, you can either take a Dremel or a bench grinder and try to clean this blade up a little bit. This thing is in rough shape right now, but I will probably go ahead and try to sharpen this a little bit. This is also, it's not the original blade to the mower. But guys, if this here is spinning and your blade is barely spinning, that means this here is no good. So the simplest way to do this is to tip the mower on the side, have somebody hit the trigger, and see how fast your blade is moving. That is the one other issue I've ran into with an electric motor. But other than that, that's really all you need to know to keep a mower like this going long term. Alright guys, so that concludes this job. So as I expected, the problem was one of the brushes. As far as I can tell, the brushes is the only thing that really wears out over time. The motor will have to be replaced at some point in time. The one other thing that needs to be replaced on a regular basis will be the shear washer, or what they call a blade insulator. as you use the mower, you're going to hit things. Things is going to happen. I mean, wear and tear, the plastic will get old, so it'll strip out. And on occasion, you will have to either sharpen or replace your cutting blade, but that will be every once in a while because you're not going to be mowing your lawn all year. The time on this job, the time was about an hour. I mean, I took longer to try to explain everything to the best of my ability. I want you guys to be able to reference this video and diagnose and fix your problems as they come up with an electric lawnmower. The cost of this job, if I was to replace the brush, the one brush is probably like $5. I mean, this is something you can do on your own. The brushes are cheap. Like I said, that since there's so much material left on the brush, I don't feel that it's necessary to replace it. The wire disconnected, so I just put it back in and, it turned back on. So there was no issue with it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you to maintain your electric mower that much more easily. Guys, until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.